Point of order. Mr. Ridley, could you come up, please? On the announcement of the meeting, we were going to discuss and possibly take actions on the revision of this order. But yesterday, at about 3:15, 3:30, about 27 hours ago, a copy of the revision was delivered to us. My question to you, sir, is does this meet the requirements for the open meetings law for sufficient time, 27 hours, to take action?
Sure, Councilman Souza, I'd like to address that. Under your resolution passed for the standing rules, section 1 says that agendas can be posted by 12 noon on the Friday prior to the meeting. This was posted on the agenda. This was an item under what was posted on the agenda, and I think we meet the rules for Open Meetings Act on this. But if the council feels that you have not had enough time to review the changes that were discussed at the work session, then you can certainly move to table this until the next meeting to have more time to look at it. But I think as far as meeting the requirements of our rules and the Open Meeting Act rules, we have met those, Council.
Thank you.
The entire code has been put under review and tried to be brought to date with current codes and the new particular items involving beer that are on the market nowadays. We did have the previous administration had permitted a beer permit which violated the 500-foot rule, which makes that rule null and void. The only other way to retain that rule would be to revoke the permit for the person that was involved in that particular incident. Having been in business for 3 years, we find it hard to revoke somebody's permit that's been in business operating successfully for 3 years. I do. And with the new laws involving high gravity beer and wine that the 500-foot rule did not even apply to, that was part of the reason for the rewriting of the codes themselves. Therefore, the city manager and others have come up with the revisions that are on this current code that you all have been supplied with. Do I hear a motion on this revision of the codes?
I'd like to make that motion, Mayor, and I think that it's important that we redo these because I checked with some of the cities that's touching Crossville and Cumberland County, and they're more up to date with the ABC, the state. We're behind bad on these things, and I really didn't realize it until we got to talking about this. But I'd like to make that motion because I think this, do you not believe, Will and David, that this is going to put us in line with the ABC laws and regulations?
I think it's certainly be closer in line with that. Of course, as we've discussed in work session, the legislature will probably over the next couple of years spend a lot of time reviewing beer and liquor laws and possibly rewriting all the laws that they have now. So we may be in a state of flux for a couple of years on this.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any further questions or discussions?
I have some comments. Yes. One comment I have for Mr. Ridley it goes in, I don't have the order in front of me, the ordinance, but it goes in describing morals, that we will have a place of business if it's a moral issue. That seems to be awfully vague to me, really vague. I don't know how we can enforce a moral issue.
I think can you hear me well? That's been the title of that section for a while now, and essentially the courts have given cities and local municipalities, as well as counties, the power to regulate beer to such an extent that you can say that there's no beer, and there could be a 2,000-foot requirement, 500-foot requirement, or 0-fee requirement. Those things, you're allowed to regulate things that interfere with the public health and safety, welfare of the community. So if you had a location that you deemed was going to cause a bad traffic problem or some other issue that may come up in the future, I think that's the reason that title is there. However, that's something that could be debated if you all wanted to change the title.
I don't have the problem with the location listings, but I have a problem with what the morals are. Okay?
That refers to the moral turpitude, which
That's
is defined in
correct.
state law. And it's defined in that ordinance. It's pretty high standard.
It's not defined in the ordinance, it says moral.
No, there's a moral turpitude that talks about embezzlement, fraud, and murder.
Later on, yeah, okay.
There may be one other place.
Okay, the next, that's all I got. Thank you. The next thing I think should be included in here is a checklist for the police chief. The things that need to be checked. In the past, things were overlooked, and that's not been addressed in this changing of the ordinance, such as transportation, locations, past history of incidents, parking, which is an issue in some cases. I think all those, there should be a checklist provided as well as a background investigation. And it's not listed in there, I think it should be. And last but not least, the new ordinance fails to identify any distance between a church, a school. Since we have no zoning, what this says is we can now put a beer joint anywhere in this city. Anywhere. Holiday Hills, anywhere we want to. And I have a problem with that, ladies and gentlemen. I have a real problem with that. Now, we need to get past the past. I understand that. But what we have here is a can of worms. So I'm not going to support this ordinance.
I think your reference to a beer joint anywhere is already applicable if it's a high gravity beer or wine. Isn't that true?
It is true.
You want to address that?
Yeah.
Let's let the city attorney address who regulates high gravity, who regulates wine, who regulates the liquor, and all the other things that take place.
Currently, the state ABC regulates the sale of high gravity beer, which is any beer over 8% alcohol content, wine or liquor sales by the drink, as well as package. The state legislators given cities, as I mentioned earlier, the right to regulate beer sales, which is under 8%. And that was one of the new changes that we were talking about earlier in the state legislature. So currently the state says that there's no requirement on distance from places of public gathering, which have been defined as many things beyond churches, including schools, daycares, cemeteries, etc. And so currently, as it stands in our city, we can have places that serve wine, high gravity beer, or liquor by the drink with no ordinance that our city can regulate. And so I think this proposed change brings low gravity beer or regular beers into the same stance as those high gravity liquor drinks.
Well, that's all true, and the state has done that. The beer permitting still remains within the city, and still has some control. Once we do this, all control ceases to exist, is my argument.
That stays with the beer board, I believe, doesn't it? Control.
Beer board will still have control over these issues, but they won't have control over the 500-foot rule because it'll be non-existent under the new proposed ordinance. So you can no longer stop people based on distance requirement.
Unless there's a problem with the,
Which our MTAS opinion has told us that because of our previous actions, we've invalidated our 500-foot rule, and we can't pick and choose who we're going to enforce it against. And so therefore, we can no longer enforce that. We can leave it on the books, but I think we may have some legal issues in the future if we try to enforce something that we legally can't enforce anymore.
Mr. Britton, with the oversight that occurred, we basically invalidated the city's ordinance 500-foot rule. It became 0, 1 foot, 0.
0.
With the redrafting of the ordinance, does it have to be 0, or could it be a different footage?
The MTAS opinion that I requested and received said that once you've invalidated it, it's gone. And the only way to bring it back is to pull those permits or to just do away with the rule. And you can't enforce any distance requirement at this point, the way the MTAS opinion is explained. And the way I understand it as well.
Thank you.
Mayor, you have somebody that wants to speak?
yes, Mr. Goodwin.
I just have, it seems like we're opening up the whole city for, now that the rule's been violated, the ordinance been violated. What are the rules? I remember the lottery thing on liquor sale, on stores, liquor stores. I think they're free. If you're gonna change this, why not just open it up? Anybody that wants to open a liquor store can open a liquor store.
That's a different law. You can't call that.
And that's what I was asking, because I don't know.
That's based on population, if I recall right. The number of liquor stores that we have is based on population. Is that not right, liquor store owner?
That is
Any other questions or comments? Did we have a motion?
You have a motion and a second.
Got a motion and a second. Motion is to accept the revised beer codes as presented. Roll call vote.
This is on first reading. Councilmember
First reading,
Souza?
it'll take 3 readings.
Yes, it will.
Yes.
Councilmember Souza?
No.
Councilmember Wyatt? Mayor Pro Tem Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Mayberry?
Aye. Next item on the agenda